The next adventure for the X-Men continues in X-Men number 3 with a cover date of January 1964. This issue is called Beware the Blob. Another iconic cover brings an underutilized villain into Marvel Comics, the Blob. They were just pumping out characters at this time. Let's get into the story. The X-Men are training their reaction speed with an ejector that shoots bags of sawdust. Cyclops' reaction time is up 3% from the last time, and I think he forgot his visor. Professor X talks to Cyclops about his grim stoic demeanor, even though he's the most powerful X-Man, and he should be proud of that. Scott worries about the power in his eyes, and if he ever lost control of them, it might be bad for everyone. Sometimes he wishes he was never Cyclops. The others are goofing around. Angel tries to teach Iceman a lesson after he messed with Beast. Bobby gets back at him by freezing Angel's wings. While Jean is training, the professor senses another mutant. He uses his mind to scour the countryside to find this new mutant. Xavier tells the team to change into their street clothes and be ready to go. The boys figure whoever gets ready first gets to escort Jean. The testosterone goes insane and they all race to be first, except for Cyclops. He thinks he's falling in love with her, but he can't tell her. Not with this dreaded power he possesses. The horny three stop in the doorway. They see the professor telling Jean to be extra careful. He doesn't know the powers this mutant has. She says not to worry. The professor thinks to himself, not to worry. As though I could help but worry about the one I love. But I can never tell her I have no right. Not while I'm the leader of the X-Men and confined in this wheelchair. This got weird. Jean decides to go with Scott. On their way out to search for this new mutant, Angel grabs Jean and takes off with her in his car. After searching for a while and turning up nothing, Scott thinks he has found the mutant at the carnival. He's in the sideshow and his name is the Blob. Professor X concurs telepathically. The Blob puts on a show. Nothing can move him. A half a dozen men even tried to. Cowboy even pulled out his gun, and bullets don't even faze him. They just go in and pop right out. After the exhibition, the professor wants Scott to recruit the Blob before any evil mutants do. Scott understands why. He's ridiculously powerful. Scott tries to talk to the Blob about coming to the X-Men mansion, but to no avail. Jean and Angel walk in, and after meeting Jean, the Blob decides to go meet with the X-Men. At the mansion, the professor puts the Blob through a few tests to see if his claim of being immovable is true. Satisfied, the professor offers the Blob a spot on the X-Men, but he refuses. Xavier is stunned. No one has ever refused his offer. He tells the X-Men to stop the Blob. He can't be permitted to leave. He knows where they live and their secret identities. The team uses their powers to try to stop the Blob. After besting all of the X-Men, the Blob escapes. The professor tells the team they have to get him. If he were to talk, it could ruin everything. Jean suggests wiping his memory, but to do so, the Blob would have to be near the professor, and he never thought the Blob would refuse his offer, or he would have done so. The Blob goes back to the carnival and tells everyone what he learned. The Blob rallies the other carnival workers after shaking down the owner and telling him he's a mutant. Homo superior, you got that? Xavier sends Angel to the carnival to see what's going on. The carnival folks don't take kindly to seeing Angel in the sky and they try to shoot him down. It's as the professor feared. The Blob is planning an attack. He has to get this device to be operational. It will enhance his mind powers to wipe the minds of an entire crowd. The Blob leads an attack on the mansion, but the X-Men are prepared. An all-out battle ensues between the carnival workers and the X-Men. The team uses all their training to give Professor X the time he needs to finish his device. They can't fail him. Beast uses his acrobatic prowess to foil the would-be attackers. Angel tries to dodge attacks meant to ground him, but gets captured by men being shot out of a cannon. Cyclops blasts an elephant charging right at them. Iceman gets captured by men in insulated suits, and Jean is surrounded. Xavier watches his X-Men fight from his window. He has to get this intensifier ready in time. With Iceman and Jean now caught, the Blob's attention turns to Cyclops, who fights valiantly, destroying a net meant to hold him prisoner, and he takes the ground out below the Blob's feet. But that attack allows Blob's men to capture Cyclops from behind. All the Blob has to do is catch the Beast and he will have all the X-Men. The Beast tries as hard as he can, but in the end, the Blob's mini Carney army is too much. All of the X-Men are caught. Now for Xavier. The Blob marches his mob to the leader of the X-Men. With all of this, the secrets and powers of the X-Men will be mine. The human race will have to bow down to the Blob. Xavier gives Marvel Girl directions telepathically, and Jean is able to free the team before the Blob reaches Xavier. There he is, the leader of the X-Men. Get him! But before the Blob can reach the professor, a giant ice wall appears in front of the men. How can this be? Iceman has been captured. Suddenly, a giant section of canvas surrounds the men, wrapping them up like a Christmas present, and the Blob is face to face with the X-Men once again. Overconfident, the Blob moves in for an attack. He did defeat them all before, why not again? Before the Blob can move, Cyclops uses his optic blast to make a giant hole in the floor beneath the Blob, making him unable to move. Beast, Angel, and Cyclops take care of the rest of the stragglers. Now it's the Professor's turn. He looks at the horde of people the Blob brought to the mansion, and with the intensifier pointed at them, he uses his powers to wipe their minds, making it so they forget everything they learned about the X-Men and the mansion. All will be how it was before they met. The next day, the Blob is back at the carnival on display as he was before. The X-Men have won the day, but the Professor knows the mind of a mutant is a peculiar thing. The Blob's memory may return, but if it does, the X-Men will be there to stop him again.